Welcome to Uping Stock Trend Prediction Channel. So in this video, I talk about the prediction and analysis for Tesla stock price fluctuation for the coming week. So today is November 5th, 2022. So this is a Tesla weekly chart and this is a Tesla daily chart. So that means if you select a Tesla weekly chart, so that means each vertical bar is 1 week's fluctuation price, and for daily chart, so each bar is one day's actual fluctuation price, and this kind of trend lines are the predicted trend lines, specify the target resistance and the target support at different levels. That's based on the prediction model from the Uping prediction model. So the last video in video 105 are uploaded to YouTube for the last day of October and for the first week of November. So in that video 105, I predicted the weekly fluctuation. That's basically the past week. I predicted the target high for weekly. Target high is $238, is around this trend line, the intersection between this trend line and the actual fluctuation data. So I predicted that's $238 at this point, and it actually fluctuate exactly touch this trend line. So the actual price is $237. So that's just $1 of difference between what I predicted weekly high and the actual weekly high. And in that video 105, I also mentioned the weekly low is around $209. Is about this point between the intersection of this trend line, bottom trend line, and the actual fluctuation price. So I mentioned that's $209. So it actually if you check the daily chart on the last Thursday and Friday, especially for Friday, it's a very big drop. So the actual fluctuation of the Tesla price is exactly fluctuated up down to this point, a little bit very close to this bottom trend line in daily chart. So it's a little bit below this bottom trend line in this weekly chart, but it's very close to this point when I predicted. So it's around the $209. So it's a little bit below this because of many people are afraid of that, but generally it's very close to this trend line. So that's, and I also in that video 105, I also predicted that for early week. That means, for example, Monday, that's also the last day of October, and I mentioned the daily low, target low is $219. So that's last Friday, last Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. So if you check this daily low, this is the actual price is $222. $222. That's just $2 of difference between what I predicted for the daily low and the actual daily low price. And I also mentioned for early week, the target high is $232. So this $232, so the actual price is $230. That's 229.77 is basically is $230. So that's also just $2 of difference between what I predicted for the daily high and the daily low and the actual price for the daily high and the daily low. So there's just only about $2 of difference between the predicted price and the actual price. So that's still a good prediction. So many people will be interested in what will happen for the second week of November. That's next week. So today is November 5th. So for the next week, this is based on the weekly chart. This is the daily chart. So the next week, the target high and low are shown at this point. For the price. So the next week, the target high of the next week is at this point, this trend line is $217.86. So the target weekly low is about this price around this trend line. That's a tip of this trend line. That's for the predicted target low for the next week. That's $191. So there's maybe a possibility that it may drop down to $182. But generally, around this price range is still a low price range for the next week. So the typical fluctuation range for the next week is between this $191 and $217. And for the early week, the target price, target high for the daily high is $211. Around this $211, and there's $199.6. So it's about this, between this range. So that's a typical range that we will cover at a with a very high probability. So it depends on if we really have a very strong momentum. If it really have a very strong momentum, it may go up to this $218 for early next week or Monday or Tuesday, and it may still have a possibility that it may drop down to this $191. That could also be the potential weekly target low. So you see this point, $191 is the same as this $191 for this trend line. So even for the monthly chart, because right now the first week of November has passed, so for the monthly chart, you see this is a monthly chart. During the first 4 days of November, that's a past week, first week of November, you see it opened here exactly a little bit below this yellow trend line for this monthly chart. So generally this two yellow trend line, this yellow trend line and this red trend line, generally represent the high price region. So you see when it opened a little bit below this, it doesn't have a strength or momentum to break through this yellow trend line, so it started to drop. And for during the past 4 days, that's the first week of November, it dropped from this yellow trend line intersection, from this point, from this blue trend line. From this blue trend line has almost exactly touched this blue trend line, and then it started to rebound, have a little bit rebound, started to increase a little bit. So for the last week is closed around here because this month is not completed yet. So this basically is the fluctuation range for the current month for November. So there's still a gap between these two trend lines. So this still have a very high possibility that during the next about 3 weeks for the current month, it will still have a possibility to drop down even to this trend line. That's about $187. So that's typically the fluctuation range for the current month, November. So depends. It may have another chance to go up, even try to reach this yellow trend line, try to touch this yellow trend line again. But generally for the first week, it's dropped from this trend line down to this trend line, so the fluctuation range will be around this range. So that's a current prediction for the current month. So there's a very low possibility that it may reach up to this this red trend line, but it depends on depends on how strong the momentum, increasing momentum is during the next about 3 weeks. So it depends, but generally it will have a very less possibility to reach up to this level. So the typical fluctuation range is about this range. So generally, you can see generally it still have show some kind of a decreasing momentum, decreasing trend. So if you are interested in this kind of prediction and analysis, you are welcome to subscribe Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel or watch more video in YouTube.